Okay, this is course analysis of the Grand Prix from the USDA Good Dog trial on Sunday, February 23rd, and Tim Verrelli was the judge. The course map is available online as a PDF. You can check the link in the description box on this YouTube site, and it is also a URL still picture later on in the video. We'll go ahead and look at the opening first. The dog goes jump, teeter, jump 3, and then there's a wrap, either going to the right or to the left. Jump, tire, jump, jump, and then again a wrap to the right or to the left to the A-frame. So we're going to look at that part first. In the opening, handlers could either be with their dogs on the right or the left, depending on how they were going to take jump 3. And the handlers that had their dogs take jump 3 wrapping to the left set up a nice straight line to 4. It was a little bit longer of a path, so if you compare that path to the path where the dog is going to go to the right, the dog has to turn a little tighter and then come back to 4. So definitely a tighter turn, shorter distance. So I think it just depended on the type of dog and how well you could execute which turn for what people chose to do. So the dogs that turned to the left on jump 3 got to go in a straighter line to 4, and kind of made them land a little long on 4. We'll look at that in just a minute. And then there were the handlers that kept their dogs on the left, and they let out, and they wrapped their dogs to the right on 3, which meant the handler had to front cross, and then the dog got sent to 4. And that definitely affected the next part. So the dog is wrapping 3 and jumping 4, and if they jump 3 to the right, they landed in probably more of collection and saw the handler turning, finishing their front cross, and so that kind of cued the turn a little better to 5, as opposed to the dogs that jumped number 3 turning to the left. Definitely had more speed. This is a straighter line, landed longer, and the handler had to call. But I didn't see any dogs miss the tire, although I didn't watch the whole class, and I didn't see very many dogs go off course there. So just commenting on the fact that what you do at 3 is going to affect what happens farther down on the course. In this next section, there are multiple options due to the wrap at 7. You can either take jump 7 to the left and go back to the A-frame, or you can take jump 7 to the right and go back to the A-frame. On the map, it doesn't look quite as similar to how it's set up. The A-frame from jump 7, truly you could go either direction. Dogs could keep their speed, find the on. It wasn't scary angle, so it was definitely a 50-50 choice of going either direction on jump 7. The people that chose to take their dogs to the left on jump 7, most of them sent to 5 and stayed with their dog on the right at 6, and then just did a post turn at 7. So the handler would be on the inside here. They'd have to serpentine 6, decelerate, and call their dog to 8. Or they could front cross if they chose. I think some people actually did front cross here and run the A-frame on the other side. That worked quite well. Another option is I saw some people take their dog over the tire, and the handler front crossed at this point, so that now the dog was on their left, and they sent the dog over 6 and got in here for a like a deceleration and a front cross to get their dog to wrap jump 7 to the right. So in this case, the handler would send to 4 and 5, front cross here, and then get in here for a front cross and turn their dog to the A-frame. And a lot of times, I think because the handler was late and just not getting where they needed to be, the dogs didn't quite read that turn. They either thought it was a rear cross and turned to the left, or another option, the dog just landed straight, went really wide. There were some dogs, I think actually, that back jumped 7. The handler wasn't cueing the turn at 7 very well, and the dog thought maybe they should back jump. And another option, I saw a couple people do a landing side front cross between 6 and 7 to pull their dog to the A-frame. So the handler would have been against serpentining number 6 and front cross on the landing side of 6 to get their dog to go around them and take jump 7 and turn to the inside. It was interesting watching the different paths and which ones allowed the dogs to keep their speed. I think that the best choice in this case, which I should have chosen but I did not because I was running my puppy and I was scared, was to do the serpentine and pull your dog this direction. So the handler just sends to 5, serpentine 6, and then it sets up nice to let your dog land long and turn on 13, and then you can run either side of the A-frame. After the A-frame, oh, I didn't put that part in there. Well, I guess we're going to look at the dog walk to the tunnel next. But it is cool, after the A-frame you can look at the course map and see that you can do a blind cross to the chute. It sets up perfectly, and then just run like hell to the dog walk to load your dog and kind of get downstream. But this was interesting after the dog walk. The way that this set up, jump 15 here was perfectly in line. If you pretended that you were the dog and stood at the dog walk and looked, this jump was perfectly in line with your line of sight, and all you could see was the upright. There was no wing, you couldn't see the bar, it was literally just an upright. So that's interesting because it becomes a problem for a dog to know what they're supposed to be jumping if they can't even really see it. So handlers had to decide how to show their dogs jump 15 off the dog walk. And a couple interesting things that I saw handlers do were, some people sent their dog off the dog walk and let them take jump 15 almost a little bit straight and then rear crossed on the flat into the tunnel. And this is not the straightest path or quote fastest line here, but it definitely allowed the dog to safely take jump 15. I don't think I saw anybody think, or didn't see any dogs think that it was the weaves. They all read it to go to the tunnel, the rear cross of the tunnel, pretty well. Another option was handlers allow their dogs to, or the handler front crossed after the dog walk so that the dog was coming straight, and then they front crossed and tried to push them over 15 and then call to the tunnel, which didn't work as well. Some people did it. In fact, I even saw one person do a blind cross there, but the dogs didn't all see the jump. They either went past it or stopped suddenly and then went to the outside of it, around it, but the dog was definitely not clear 100% of the time that the jump was even there, I think. Also sets up a problem if you have a running dog walk, because you were already going to be really far behind due to where you were coming from after the A-frame, shoot, jump, dog walk. That was a really long distance. So probably if I was running this with a dog with a running contact, I would decide to do a decelerate, call, and do a rear cross into the tunnel. That line actually set up really, really nicely. the dogs were able to see that they were supposed to do a jump. The handler could stay however far back they were at the point when the dog was executing the dog walk and going towards the jump, and then just kind of call them, shape the line, and rear across into the tunnel. The people that did do the front cross after the dog walk, the whole idea was that you needed to get your dog to take a couple steps this direction before they committed to the jump. So the best way for the handler to do it was to, if their dog had a 2-on 2-off, waste a little bit of time by leaving them on the 2-on 2-off and leading out and then front crossing and pushing their dog to 15. It was not the best plan. And like I said, a lot of people, they didn't get it. The dogs just didn't even see the jump or hit the bar, and it wasn't very pretty. Definitely an interesting Grand Prix course. Really fun to see so many choices on directions to go. And here is the URL, and you can just type it in goo.gl/4b8rng, and it'll take you to that website. It's just a PDF that I posted of the course map. It's also a link down below in the description of this YouTube video.